Welcome in, everybody. A special episode tonight. Technically, it's episode 4 because I split up the last one into 2. I know it's a Wednesday. We haven't watched SmackDown yet. I don't know any spoilers or anything like that. I'll have Nick here to tune me in if he knows anything. Anybody that's new here hasn't met Jason. Jason was involved with me and Nick last year for Shots at the Rumble. And we might talk a little bit about that later at the end because me and Jason have already made a bet when it comes to Shots at the Rumble. So whether he wants to reveal something or not, we'll see. There's still plenty of time for that, but I will bring the boys in. They can say hello.
Hello.
All right, there we go. All right, so something that we did on the last episode that I had said I want to do for each new person that hops on stream is I want to ask them when did they start watching wrestling, and then what's their relationship with that. So that's what we're going to start off with.
Okay. Well, I honestly don't remember what age I started watching it. I know it was like 7th or 8th grade where I watched it consistently. I mean, I always watched it every now and then with my dad growing up. It's definitely been a lukewarm relationship. Sometimes I'm really into it, watching it all the time. There's other moments where I was very cold, not really watching it. I still watch it regularly, just not necessarily live, because I'm an adult now. Work and things take over. Sucks, but still really watch it. Really upset I missed Halloween Havoc, which I know we'll talk about later, so I'll wait for that one comment. These guys know, but oh yeah. But once we talk about the show, then I'll let it out. But yeah, no. Been enjoying it for a longest time. All that, me and my little brother, we wanted to start a YouTube channel at one point because of how much we loved wrestling.
Oh, really?
We would be on. Yeah, we wanted to be on the trampoline, creating our own little matches and all that.
That's awesome.
All that. But, we didn't have the equipment to really even attempt to do it. And also our parents didn't let us do a few things that we wanted to try to do.
Yeah, same here.
Some reason jumping off the roof onto the trampoline wasn't a bright idea for them, so kind of threw that out the window.
I might have done that off of a pool once, off the roof into the pool with my wrestling buddies.
I've done that before too.
I've done that before, but I wasn't allowed to do the trampoline.
Yeah, trampoline. I think you guys would go flying for sure.
Just a little bit. That would just go straight through it.
We had one trampoline in the neighborhood, but I feel like I rolled my ankle once or twice and was like, I'm done with this. Do you know generally around the age that you started watching wrestling, and then when you tuned out, and then when was the moment when you kind of were like, ooh, it's starting to get good again, it's relevant again and fun again?
So I tuned out really when I first got to college, and I didn't really tune out for very long either. It's just that whole life change that I had to go through, and so moving out of the house, and I mean even in school I was made fun of a little bit for doing it, for enjoying wrestling, but at the same time, some people thought it was cool. During basketball games with our 6-man, me and one buddy would do different wrestling moves and all that. So something I probably should try to find is that RKO I did in the gym with the lovely 360 resolution for that one.
We did a lot of Ric Flair chops when I was in high school.
Oh my god, yeah.
Ours was the RKO, RKO or a stunner.
We could walk I had a good group of guys I think senior year in gym class, and walking down the hallway you could chop somebody, but in gym class, yeah, we would try to do RKOs and twist of fates and stuff like that, because those were our guys.
See, for me in high school, we never did the moves. We would always just go around the school doing the DX chop.
See,
anytime we dared in the hall, we just go.
I dared to not try to do that because my mom taught at the school I went to. So just imagine me just doing it down the hallway, and all of a sudden I just see my mom's eyes just glaring down. Nobody else would be in the hallway.
I remember doing that. Again, I'm a little bit older than you guys. I remember doing that in grade school and us getting in trouble. If you do that one more time, you're getting suspended. And we were kids, so we were like, oh, okay, we're not gonna do this anymore. And then it kind of faded out. So when was that, I guess, moment or whatever where you started getting back into wrestling?
I ironically met a good friend that was also big into wrestling and all that. at the time I still never changed like my background on a phone, but I had Finn Balor as my like wallpaper because
Yeah.
I didn't want people to look at my phone, and it was the demon version. And so every time they would click on it and just see Demon Finn Balor and freak out, like, what is this guy into? And so it just kept everyone from my privacy. He looked at it one time and goes, he pulls his phone out and shows me his background. And it was
Nice.
another picture of Demon Finn Balor.
Oh, that's cool.
And so we lived in the same dorm room and all that year, and we started watching. We created so many fake emails just to get the free trial for the WWE Network for different
Nice.
Oh
Nice.
my
reviews.
god.
And we even one of my earliest clips is
Oh.
us watching like the Royal Rumble.
Mhm.
We were seriously wording Enzo and Cass word for word, like in with everything. And so we got to watch AJ Styles that Royal Rumble come come out, and you could see us just get pissed at not being able to see who it was. It's like, is it actually him? Please let it be.
Oh my god.
I think the first
Awesome.
Rumble that I actually watched like live and not just highlights or clips was the one that Ray won,
Okay.
which was like
The one I first
2006.
watched,
Yeah.
2006, I believe.
the one I first watched live was, I guess it would be what 2017 Rumble. Or was AJ Styles 16?
I think it was
I think AJ Styles was 16.
16.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because at 17 he faced John Cena, I think.
I think it was
That's
16.
right.
Like I didn't really start getting back or start like watching wrestling for I guess seriously until 2007ish or 2000 end of 2006 into 2007. So like I remember I went there and was like, it was just like a thing. Like all the guys were hanging out. We all threw in $5 so we could buy the Rumble, and they would kind of said like, it's the Rumble, like it's just fun, like even if you don't really know
Oh, yeah.
anything. And I watched it and was like, wow, this really is like a really fun event, even though I only know like 3 or 4 guys. And then like,
Mhm.
you know, I had pretty like good friends that were like, you know, they weren't gonna give you a hard time or anything. So I'd be like, who's that guy? And they'd be like, oh, that's Edge. Like he's won championships and blah blah blah. Or like, who's that guy? Oh, that's Triple H. Like, so they kind of were
Yeah.
like explaining stuff and not like getting mad. And I always feel like
Oh, yeah.
I always try to be that guy too for people that are new to it, because it's like you want
Mm.
people to get excited and interested and invested in this stuff. And I think we've all had friends that we've invited over or been somewhere and they're just like, oh my god, how do you guys watch this? It's so stupid, or it's, you know, it's
Oh, yeah.
fake.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like, dude, we get it. Calm down. Like, if you can't just like sit here and like let us enjoy it, then like you can leave. Like,
Yeah.
Do you know
seriously.
what I tell to the people that say it's fake?
Oh, I point out the
Chop 'em.
different shows they enjoy to watch. I just point out the TV shows they watch and all that, because a lot of my people watch action. I was like, you know, they're doing stunts that these actors have stunt doubles for. They don't have that.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the fact that they all do the stuff live is even more impressive than like the actual like stuntmen just recording
Yeah.
at a studio. That's the exact same thing that I say too.
I even mentioned to him one time, I was like, have you tried taking a move on a gym floor? Like some
Right?
independent scenes try to do? I can tell you how it feels. I've done it.
Yeah, and it's like you can't fake a power slam. You can learn how to take it, but you can't like fake being slammed on the mat.
Mhm.
No.
Like and you can't fake being in the air either if you're like a high flyer. It's like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
It's a male drama that is kind of like an aggressive dance. You have to have a partner that will protect you, and it's
Mhm.
somewhat choreographed, you know, depending on how good you are, if you can make it up on the fly in the ring or
Mm.
not. But like, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, who are you to judge, you know, who can enjoy what and not? So it's like, if anything, it's kind of a good tell of like maybe character, but of like the taste of that person. Like, if you're gonna get like pissy because I'm enjoying something that you don't enjoy, like that's on you, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the girls I knew like fantasizing over The Rock. I was like, it's like, you know what got him there?
I
It's
remember, and this is fitting too because Halloween is tomorrow. But I remember my friend sent me a clip where he was John Cena, and his buddy in college, and this is college, and his buddy in college is
Okay.
Randy Orton. And at the time, like that was the two like
That's the
big
big
feuds or
rival.
whatever. and they had like a legit like wrestling match in the living room and like on the couch, and they were in like their outfits were legit too. Like this dude, I was like, did he like shave his legs to look like Randy Orton? Like he had a shaved head
Nice.
and
My
everything
God.
like that. Like I would love to find that clip
Not
somewhere.
TV.
Yeah,
Like
you'd have to get rid of everything.
Yeah, no.
that was, I mean,
I
that,
can't.
that was us back in the day though. Like fuck it,
If I have to
who's got
do
a
a
couch?
costume and where the beard has to be shaved, I'm not doing it.
Mm,
I spent too long to
100%.
get this. I am not losing it.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
I just say, oh, the character later grew a beard.
Yeah.
So
It's like, you know what? Just a little twisted. Had to add my own flair to it.
Exactly.
let's go ahead and move into that one thing. Nick, I want you to go ahead and start it off because I think I'm going to piggyback off of it.
I love how you always pick me to go first for these because I always just go right to the point.
Mm-hmm.
You know me. I'm as Mr. NXT.
Damn right.
My one thing.
Here we go.
Sir,
Yep.
you know it.
I
My
think it's
one thing-
everyone's.
The women's division is kicking ass in NXT. It's carrying the brand. It's just fucking amazing. It's awesome to see. Triple H could take some notes, honestly, from Shawn Michaels in NXT. Honestly, the women's roster is so deep that it definitely outweighs the men's main event scene at this point, because the men's main event scene, you really only have Ridge, you got Ethan Page, you got Trick, Obafemi's probably gonna be up there soon. Um, that's about it. But like, you got so many different names in the women's division. Of course, they got 2 championships now, but like, it's cooking. It's cooking.
Mhm.
It's been in like an impressive hot stretch for them too. The fact that like maybe not every week, but it feels like every like 3 weeks it's like Julia's coming. Boom, she shows up. Like we knew Stephanie was
Yeah.
coming, but we didn't know when. Stephanie's now here. Oh my god. And now it's like Zaria's here. And then like last night was crazy too because it was like, what is Rhea Ripley doing here? And then it was like
Yep.
she gets beat up in the parking lot by Raquel and Liv Morgan. Like NXT is almost becoming like, to me at least, or like possibly could be. We'll say that. I'll backstep a little bit. Almost could become like just the female wrestling show, and I would be completely okay with it because they have so much talent right now and like so many like multiple people that you can get invested in.
They only did what, Evolution 1 year as an all
Yeah,
women's
like
pay-per-view.
6 years
It was
ago.
7. Yeah, and like that was actually a decent show. Wanting to see more of that because there was still a lot of talent in NXT at that time too, waiting for an opportunity, and that was the perfect show to showcase it. But we never really got to see it. Definitely bring it back,
I love
please.
it.
Especially since they're moving away from all these specialty pay-per-views based off of different match types.
Nick, I had a question for you because you know you're gonna know the history. So if we
Shoot.
if we back up and we start talking about like, because after Crown Jewel we have War Games. So wasn't the
Yep.
whole first War Games stuff, at least in WWE, like in NXT, correct?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I
Yeah.
saw last night's show with the 5-on-5, and I know that they're gonna do something next Wednesday or whatever. And then they had the Liv Morgan Rhea stuff. What made me think was like, what if at Survivor War Games we have a Team Liv versus Team Rhea, and because like they both kind of burn bridges with everybody, they both go down to NXT and like lift them up. Like, I would be so freaking jacked if they did that. But
I was thinking about that earlier today too.
Yeah.
Like,
That would be cool.
the Rhea side could have Zarya because they grew up in the exact same
Yeah.
place in
Yeah.
Adelaide, South Australia. Stephanie, Julia, and I can't.
I'd probably throw Kalani in there
Yeah, I'd throw Kalani in there too.
Yeah, because then you
And
could
then-
add a fatal influence
on
to
the other
Liv's
side.
side.
Yeah, that's
And
yeah.
there's your
Fatal influence to
5v5.
Liv and Raquel.
All right, Jason, what is your one thing?
My one thing right now, like we talked about the NXT Women's Division, I think that was everyone's one thing at first. But also, can we talk about how mediocre Halloween Havoc was?
Ooh, Nick.
Like, is this a hot take for you, Nick?
That's not really a hot take.
Because
I gave it a solid 8.5, but that was mostly because of the Tony D'Angelo and Obafemi match because I really liked that.
yeah, like there was so much hype around it, and I haven't gotten fully finished it, but what I've seen so far is like these matches aren't living up to the hype that
Mm.
they're supposed to be and all
Yeah,
that.
especially Trick and Ethan Page. Like, I don't know what it is with the two of them in the ring. It doesn't really seem like they click. They definitely
No,
click
they
with
definitely
promos
don't.
and stuff like that, but in the ring, it's different. The
Why you
ambulance
think when you
match, I thought it was fun though. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, every time I go and watch highlights of the ambulance match after seeing it, I have different things I point out that make me flip flop on it.
Mm.
I wish it was the 2 week event like they did before
Mhm.
on normal show because I think that helped bring more of the story out in the matches instead of rushing it as well.
And it gets more talent on the show too.
Yes, that as well, and I think that's probably why I think it's more mediocre because it helped bring
Mm.
so many stars into it
Yeah.
and all that helped build everything. And also, I really don't know how I feel about Bubba Ray coming back and all that. It's like that would have been a perfect chance for someone else to help get a push. Like you got Josh Briggs, who was starting to get a push at one point, and this
Mhm.
just fell
What happened
back.
to him? I haven't
Yeah, what
seen him in a
He's
long time.
he's still on NXT. I don't know. They even
Yeah, they
hinted
just
at
forgot
him
about
getting
that.
back with Brooks Jensen, but nothing
Brooks is
happened.
with Sean Spears now, so I don't.
Wait,
Unless,
well, yeah, now, but I could still see him still joining that group though, because they
yeah,
both have that aggression, and that's one thing I wish when they were a team they would do would become heels, and like what JBL is doing on TNA right now. How JBL was in their corner as a team. JBL has the mic skills that making everyone hate this group, and he could easily give them lessons on the mic to help elevate them into the tag team they should have been. Have the in-ring talent. They don't have the mic skills.
no, they don't. They're really
But
cringe.
but that's why they're on NXT. Like there's a perfect opportunity. We're not taking advantage of it.
Let me ask you this. Uh, were there any matches where you're just like completely like I can't remember what your picks were, Nick, but like were there any matches that you were like, "Oh my god, I can't believe they let this guy win or this girl win?"
For
Like
me, it was the gauntlet match, but it wasn't more so like, holy shit, they actually let Fallon Henley win a championship. It was like, holy shit, they actually gave her a championship run because she deserves it.
Yes,
It was
we're
like
finally touching that
reaction.
point.
It was that reaction, but it was like the just completely different sense. You know what I mean?
Yes, the top shelf finally got the championship she's needed.
But
So,
to be
I
to
thought
be
that was
fair,
great.
to be fair with like Kalani too, like if you're gonna take the title off her, that was a great way to do it.
that was a great way to
Yeah,
do it.
because she was a really good champion. She was defending that shit all the time.
If they're gonna build up some type of like 5 versus 5 for that Wednesday, it does look a lot more appealing, I guess, where it's like
Mhm.
all the heels have the championships and the faces are chasing type of thing.
That's true. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
very good point. I'm so excited for that 10-woman tag.
Yeah, that's but yeah, the match that I guess I won't say I was let down because I feel like for me at least when I go into NXT, I always like kind of have like an average like, we'll see what happens type of vibe. But the one I was most excited for was the women's tag, and it still was like good, but I felt like it felt like them in the ring were like felt like they were rushed. Like it felt like very fast, a lot of reversals and blah blah blah. And like the only I think I don't know if it was Nick or who or Tomlin I told us to where I was like I feel like Cora was the only one in the ring that actually was like, hey, let's slow down, let's sell like a punch, let's sell a reverse, like
Yeah, I think that was my chat. Yeah.
yeah, I was like everyone that was like, all right, this to this to this to this to lock up, all right, reverse.
Yeah.
It's just like it felt so rushed that I was like, all right, I get it, you guys are good wrestlers, but like we're basically just rolling around the sheets right now. Like it's, tell me something. Like
Yeah, and that's
bring
all
me somewhere.
that tag division has been really
I guess
lately.
I guess with them in the ring though, I was expecting more because like I knew all of them other than like obviously Cora's got to knock off some rust, but I knew the other three like okay, they all can wrestle, they all can have great move sets and stuff like that. So I was like, I guess my expectations were a lot higher, and it just was again. I think it was like the second match, so I was like,
Yeah, that's what
damn,
threw
second
me off,
match.
too. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I knew there was nothing on the line or anything like that, so I was like,
I wonder if
okay.
there's something hidden backstage that made that match happen that way. Maybe like Cora was still a bit rusty during walkthroughs or something beforehand. and all that.
I mean,
So
she
being
looked.
precautious.
I think she looked pretty good for kind of. I think that was what her
Yeah.
first match or second match back. So
Yeah.
she took some
She looked,
spots.
I think she looks solid.
Yeah. I just think in
I think
general,
it was,
like she's not as good as the other three in the ring. So
Yeah.
and I
Well, I
also think
mean-
it had to do with Zarya too, because she eventually tacked Fallon Henley and the rest
Yeah.
of Fatal Influence after the fourth match was over before the main event.
I
So
th-
they kind of like played up that story too.
I thought it was kind of weird that they like promoted her like 3 times. Like we had like the trailer, and then we had like the trailer, and then she showed up, and then at the very end or whatever, she showed up again and attacked. Like I was like, I don't know. I thought that was weird.
Oh, 3 times in a show. Yeah, that's overkill.
The trailer thing is definitely overkill.
Yeah.
They did it again during her entrance on NXT. I noticed that. I hope they don't do that every time. I hope that was just for the Halloween Havoc and last week, because if it's gonna happen every time, then I have a problem with it. But
I don't think it will. It's just still this transition period and all that for all of WWE with the shows moving around so much. Getting prepared for the new year with that huge change. I really hope that this is going to happen, is that a lot of the, as we mentioned with the NXT women roster, a lot of it gets moved up. They get moved up to Raw and all that, with it starting on Netflix and all that, because they need a better women's division going into that.
I'd say the same thing for SmackDown too. But Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton have been killing it over on SmackDown, but they definitely have to start using more talent, because it's the same people all over on SmackDown.
I guess my one thing, and is kind of, I feel like I've been very negative tonight, but my one thing was just, I was actually, for once, actually more excited for like an NXT PLE than this Crown Jewel event. I kind of have my own feelings because it is, Nick kind of likes those afternoon shows. I don't like them at all.
I love them.
Like maybe
I love them.
maybe 4 o'clock and later is good, but like 1 o'clock, I feel like I'm just getting up and kind of getting settled, and then it's like, oh, there's a wrestling event. Oh, okay, and then like it just throws me off for the entire day. Then like government politics aside, or whatever, just not kind of a big fan of that as well. And it seems like they throw a lot of money towards WWE to make kind of like Crown Jewel like a WrestleMania light for them, which is like, if it's good for the fans and we get some cool shows, like okay, whatever, like I'll buy into that. But I feel like we only end up getting like has-beens that show back up, like when we got the like Goldberg like squashing the Fiend. Like I feel like
don't remind me of that.
I just feel like
when we had DX against the Brothers of Destruction.
Yeah, I
Oh.
feel like they incentivize.
I felt like I was in a nursing home watching.
Yeah.
Vince booking right there.
I feel like they incentivize stuff we don't want to see for nostalgia reasons, that like the regular fans are just like slapping their foreheads like, are we really gonna do this? So for me, and then they, last PLE they introduced their own Crown Jewel Championship title belt or whatever, and to me that it was just made it seem like, all right, now I have even less interest in this show, because now our major champions are fighting for a title that like, okay, it's something new, maybe that's cool, but it's like kind of what you were saying with the Speed Championship, like, are they supposed to, like, if they do win it, are they supposed to like hold this championship the whole year? Is it only cool to hold it for like 2 months and then it's lame? Like, or are you just not even, you're gonna win it and not show it off at all except like the night after? Like, it just seems really weird.
What they should do with that is whoever wins it, because they do a lot of locker room promos now, is just have it in a plaque in that person's locker room in the background, just as a beautiful display, because then it still shows like the prestige of winning it and all that, but it also doesn't have that pressure of showing it and like, when are you going to defend that?
Yeah.
And with Survivor Series changing to where it's not brand versus brand, this still brings that aspect of that so many people enjoy watching and all that, is seeing those champions fight without worrying about unification and all that. So
yeah,
I definitely see it's working out if they do it routinely, not like what they did with the Greatest Royal Rumble, where Braun Strowman wins it and then you just never think about the Greatest Royal Rumble.
Yeah, and he's been champion for 3,000 days now.
Yeah. Hey, longest reigning WWE champion ever.
Oh my god. Well,
But
let me ask you this then, because like my whole thing is basically like I don't know if there's one match on the card that I'm actually like super excited for, or like one promo that I'm like this has got me hooked. And so my one thing is, in my opinion, the only way to save this show is Tiffany's cashing in.
I think that happens.
I can see that happening, especially because women's wrestling there was so frowned upon at first.
I think it's going to be a
But
mixed
now,
response, but I still think it happens, and that's what's going to save the show for me.
I still think the show could be pretty good. I think the Kevin Owens thing could happen too.
What do you mean the Kevin Owens thing?
Kevin Owens thing.
Kevin Owens costing Cody Rhodes against Gunther.
Oh, that's happening.
Ooh,
Either Goldberg's gonna interfere somehow, or Kevin Owens. That's what's happening.
This is where
someone's interfering, costing the other.
This is where we're gonna have to book when we get into book it, because yeah, I'm like Nick's got ideas I didn't think of, and I think I got some ideas Nick didn't think of. So,
and then I have no clue what y'all were thinking of.
But yeah, that's the one thing. It's just like for once, I'm actually more excited for kind of NXT content compared to the main roster stuff. And weird as it seems, like, it was bad, mid, whatever you want. You can have your own opinion on Halloween Havoc, but like, yeah, I've been way more excited for Halloween Havoc, and then like this Wednesday show, than Crown Jewel, and like that's probably a first for me, and it just completely thrown me off completely.
I've never been a fan of Crown Jewel, anyways, or any Saudi Arabia event. It screams a babyface pay-per-view, or whatever the biggest star is pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Just because of where it's located, and that's why I sometimes have issues with these international pay-per-views or PLEs. There needs to be more of these twists that occur on these shows for any of us to really start getting interested in them. There's been a couple surprises, but at the same time, we're like, well, it is this time of the year where we should expect something like this to occur.
It's good that you mentioned that too, because my friend Rich, he coaches football, so he can't. Especially then again, here we go with these afternoon ones. When he's coaching football, he can't watch the afternoon ones because he's got games he's got to go coach. And he had said this a couple PLEs ago, where he was just like, you know what, it's an international show, like all the fans are gonna go home happy, the baby faces are gonna win, like we're not really like we might get a a bloodline storyline twist or whatever, but it was just like they're just gonna send the fans home happy, the faces are all gonna win. And at first I was like, no, it's not really that predictable, is it? And then I'm sitting here looking at the fantasy stats, and I'm like, well, he is up there, and he's like 1 or 2, and he's right. So I was just like, you know what? That does kind of make it less fun because it becomes almost too predictable.
I mean, that's why Alba Fire and Isla Dawn won the tag belts, because the Bloodline story was growing with Drew McIntyre losing, so they had to have at least one hometown group win. And it also makes it awkward too. Like Brock Lesnar, for example, mainly a heel and all that. Hard to see him as a babyface. You put him on a show overseas, he's a babyface. Everyone loves seeing him destroy other wrestlers.
Hey, I liked him as the Cowboy Brock. He seemed to be having a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun. I will say about that.
It's definitely better than Beatbox Brock.
Oh my
with the
God.
briefcase.
Yes, that was
kind of funny though, and in its time.
It was funny, but it lasted way too long.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, it's Brock Lesnar. He should have cashed in that same night. Let's be honest. He should not have held it for more than 5 minutes.
Do we see Paul Heyman at Crown Jewel?
If you guys are saying like, like the big baby faces always get like the big baby faces are gonna get the win. They're gonna send the fans home happy and stuff like that. I think we could see Paul. I think that would probably set up the match for War Games too later on in the month.
Oh, Paul's definitely gonna. I would love to wait and see Paul at War Games. Help out.
I would like that too.
Yeah, me too.
Like it's a back and forth battle. It's just Solo standing. It could be anybody on the OG bloodline remaining, and then all of a sudden you just see a kendo stick hit Solo, and you see Paul Heyman as the one that hits him.
Ooh.
Especially since
hears music, boom.
Hey,
Especially since NXT is about to be in ECW's arena.
how do we feel about what we saw on Raw with the Sammy and Jay and Jimmy and Solo in the car? Because I feel like we all were assuming that Sammy will be the fourth. He'll be he'll join the OG bloodline. And now I'm sitting there like, it'd actually be more interesting if he did join Solo.
If he was a heel, yeah, because he was always cool with Solo.
Yeah.
Yeah, Solo never had an issue with him. He never went back and forth with Solo.
Because when they were all kind of giving him a little bit of shit or like mistrust. I wish I remembered when it was, but I know it was a SmackDown where Roman had basically said like, Solo, go out there and destroy somebody or whatever, and the Jimmy and Jay were both like, trying to kind of tell him what to do, and he wasn't feeling it, and he was just like, no, you guys stay back here. And then he went to like walk away, and he's like, Sammy, you coming? And like, that was such a cool spot because it was like, oh, somebody in the family is actually including Sammy, and like,
and it's
feels comfortable
so easy
with him.
it's so easy to run with that take too, because it took Sammy so long to get into the OG bloodline as well. When he was first like wanting to hang out and all that, was never accepted. It was just that little brother you have to bring everywhere.
As much as,
and so it just fits.
I'd said this to Nick where I expected the Jay stuff to take longer, and I didn't expect them to have a match here at Crown Jewel. I thought there was gonna be more of a Roman versus Jay courtship, that eventually he would join them and be like maybe the surprise or whatever, but he would be in the War Games match, where maybe they use that, I guess, time or storyline now, and now it's according on both sides to bring Sammy in. Because I would be down with that, because I would love to hear the Solo being like, hey man, I never had any distrust or whatever. I was just doing what Roman told me to do. He was the one that wanted me to kick you out and spike you and do all this stuff. And like, you remember we were boys down the road.
You can still kind of see that a little bit too when
you can,
about to spike him.
But like back then, Solo never really had that voice to explain or say anything, and now he does. So like, I feel like there's plenty of
bodyguard.
Yeah. So now it's like
he can easily either manipulate Sammy first off, because we can easily talk about how Sammy steadily goes back to KO, and KO loves to befriend everyone he's around. And so
I actually did have that thought where I was I
think KO's the new Big Show. You never know if he's a face or a heel. He can switch just like that.
Ouch. I don't think that hurts. I don't think KO's quite there.
It's not as bad, but if you look at his track record, it just fits.
I actually thought this, and I don't know how much I believe it, but I was like, what if Sammy then like basically teamed up with KO and the Bloodline, and KO could kind of do the whole like, not necessarily like if you can't beat him, join him, but like, no, my hate for Cody and him betraying me is like, this is my spiteful like thing to screw him over type of thing. And then Sammy, basically just being like, well, KO's my boy and Solo's manipulated me, but making good points. Okay. And then suddenly it's almost like you have like a 6-versus-6 at Survivor Series.
That would be cool. A 6-versus-6 War Games, I don't think has ever happened. I think
no, it's all been
5 or 5,
4 or 5.
So
one thing I would love to see as well, and Nick, this is why I'm gonna have to try and lean into you because I haven't watched TNA in a while. But because of the cross promotion with NXT and TNA, I feel like this would be a good match to have 2 TNA stars be a part of both teams.
On the main roster, like a War Games match.
Yeah, like Moose.
I could see
Moose joining Solo's team, or at least someone in the world title picture.
Okay.
I like that, but I don't. My only question would be, I don't know where the connection would be.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
I love the idea though.
It's a good idea how you connect them. Like,
we got a half-baked idea. We got to fine-tune this.
Yes, like there is things that fine-tune. I mean, the Hardys just won championship, so you can't really bring them in. And I don't remember who all is still on TNA because I haven't watched it in a while.
I mean, Ziggler would be very easy to be like, I have history with Roman or whatever, like. But I feel like he's a face right now, so I feel like he would be.
Ziggler would definitely be with.
So
would definitely be leaning with Roman.
Side, I think.
Yeah.
But
And so, and even and honestly, just him showing up
I'd
and all
pop.
that
I'd pop.
to help a friend would be absolutely phenomenal.
I don't know what's gonna happen with the Miz and the Final Testament stuff. I'm actually a little bit intrigued there. But it would be interesting if
Yeah.
somehow Ziggler popped his head in backstage and was just like, Miz, you sure about that? Like, I would love to see that.
The Miz is cutting a promo about just to the fans, just about how he's tired of giving to the fans and all that.
I would love
And
if
then
he
all
was...
of a sudden, just a super kick to the face. And then, just like how Jimmy and Jay have been covered up so much, you just pull the hood back.
I mean, Miz could be... He could be cutting... Miz could be cutting some promo, too, about how, like, he's the best, like, modern-day Intercontinental Champion, and then Ziggler shows up and was like, are you sure about that? Like...
It should have been me!
Yeah.
It should have been me. Let's move into... Let's make our picks, okay? So... And then we'll go through and we'll start booking our matches, our match. So for chat, people new in chat, we'll make our picks, and then we're gonna go through one by one, and basically we're gonna play as if we're Triple H. So we're gonna do the match order, and then what we think happens and how we would book it. Whether it's what we want or what we think is gonna happen, that's kind of up to whoever's telling it. So I'm gonna start off with the first match is gonna be Seth Rollins versus Bronson Reed. So I'm gonna make Jason go first.
Interesting. I don't really see this being the opener, but
this isn't. I'm just going through. We're just picking right now. Basically, I want us to make our picks, and then as we're telling our stories or explaining stuff, see if any of us sway. Because usually I get Nick to sway sometimes.
Yeah, just because
it happened once with the Naomi thing.
Yeah. Well, see, because of this whole feud and all that, with it being at Crown Jewel, my gut easily wants me to just go with Rollins, just because of how over he is there. Everyone wants to enjoy him, but I feel like this is the one match where it goes the heel way, and so I'm gonna actually pick Bronson Reed to win this. There's always one on these shows that flip because of storytelling, and I think this is the easiest one to pick the heel to win to increase a story.
Okay, I can see that. What about you, Nick?
I'm the exact same route. I think. Also, you got to think about it like this: like Seth Rollins is super over, like Jason said, but also at the same time, Bronson Reed is also very over with all the tsunamis that he's been doing to everybody the past couple of months. And think about this: he's also an international star. You'd think international fans would also get behind international wrestlers that are on these PLEs, regardless of where they're from.
Interesting.
Usually, I really don't think that's usually the case, but I still agree with the point you're making.
I'm going Seth Rollins, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
All right, so I have two thought processes here. Thought one is it's basically a no contest. They just keep brawling and like because as far as we know right now, is this not just a straight up match?
This is a regular singles match.
So it's a straight up match. So my first thought process is that they're gonna get counted out. Somebody's gonna do something shady. Chairs brought out. Basically, it's just gonna continue the story to War Games, and then we get a false count anywhere, no DQ, whatever it is. Yeah, street fight, something like that. But if it doesn't happen, and we need Seth Rollins to polish this off and get him ready for CM Punk, I think Rollins has to win. Like, he's going to probably make Bronson look great, and Bronson's going to, maybe hit 3 or 4 tsunamis or whatever, but, like, Rollins rolls out of the ring. Like, Rollins has always been that guy that he can find a way to win. So I got him winning this match. Bronson looks great, and we've talked about it in the past whether I think he had a birth of his child or something, and then something else happened, a match got cut or something, where it's like, he keep missing these PLE opportunities, like, overseas and stuff like that. So if anything, I'm just happy that, like, one, he's on a PLE, he's got a good match with Seth Rollins. Like, if they, like, put on a great match and both guys look great, like, this, for his future going forward, that's going to be bigger than any win or loss.
He missed an IC, like, #1 contendership or something.
Yeah, he had COVID or something. I think he got sick.
He was sick for the Australia pay-per-view.
Yeah, I
That's
think
what
those,
happened there.
I think those were flipped. But yeah, like he's missed out on all these opportunities. So like I'm super happy that he's there, but I still think it's like, unfortunately for him, the bigger story is Seth Rollins and CM Punk. So unless somehow CM Punk cost Seth Rollins this match, but I don't think we're there yet.
No.
It hasn't been teased yet. It would be a very big surprise.
That would be our shocker.
Rumble's where it's gonna occur.
Yeah.
Rumble's where that's gonna occur.
I mean, because it's like after this we have War Games, and then they're kind of like special promos, but then it's like it's Rumble season, so like anything can kind of happen there.
You know, or it could happen at War Games if Rollins sides with Roman, buries that hatchet with him as well.
That'd be crazy.
Punk costs Rollins somehow in the match.
That'd be nuts. I don't,
especially since that would mark a year since Punk comes back.
Yeah, I think he does need to be involved, but I don't. I could see him having a backstage or like show up in the ring just because it is a Saudi show and they want all the stars. So, but I don't know if he gets involved here. I still think it's probably the first one where it's some type of they get both disqualified and nobody really wins. But if they do have some type of outcome, I'm going with Seth. So let's move on to the next one. So then we got the women's tag. I'm not going to say all the names, but we have 4 tags. Nick, I'm going to make you go first.
I got Jade and Bianca because, you know, of course it's Jade and Bianca. They're going to find a way to win this match. I think Chelsea Green or Piper Niven's probably going to get pinned in this one because Lash and Jakara just started getting some more time on SmackDown and Raw. Damage Control. I think if Jade and Bianca don't retain, I could see them winning the championships, but I'm going to go with Jade and Bianca. I'm going to go with the safe bet. I don't think it's time for them to lose the championships again because, like Jason said earlier, the women's tag team titles are kind of like hot potato. I don't know. It wouldn't really make sense for them to drop the championships here. I do expect them to drop them maybe around December, January before the Royal Rumble, where when they go into the Rumble, then like they'll be tasked to face off against each other, eventually eliminating each other, and then have a match at WrestleMania or something like that. So I don't see them losing it anytime soon.
Okay. Jason?
So, this is where I think we start to see the downfall of Jade and Bianca, actually. And so what I want to see who wins, who I'm picking, is Chelsea Green, Piper Niven.
Ooh.
I think, and I believe Damage Control is going to be the one that gets pinned here.
Ooh.
Ooh.
So I believe Jade and Bianca are going to be on the verge of winning this, and this is where Lash and Jakara do something that makes Jade and Bianca have miscommunication and all that. So how that looks, I don't know, but either Lash or Jakara is the one taking the hit and all that, or before it happens, Damage Control kicks out Jade and Bianca, hits their finisher on Lash or Jakara, and then this is where Chelsea and Piper sneak in a 30 win.
Okay, I like it.
I wouldn't hate seeing Chelsea or Piper Niven being tag champs again because they are very entertaining.
Yes.
I looked at it as
the team that needs to build those titles up.
Part of me is like, there's the booker and then there's the fantasy player. Okay, so the fantasy player in me says, okay, who's gonna take the pin? To me, it's okay. Well, like the newbies, they could afford to do it, but I think they're trying to push them. So no. Damage Control, they've actually been booked pretty well lately. Obviously, Bianca and Jade are not getting pinned, so that kind of I'm like, Piper and Chelsea. Well, Chelsea's going to be the one that takes the pin then. So I kind of
it always seems to be Chelsea.
Yeah,
not on the winning side.
I mean, she's more about being having the good match. She's never been championship focused, which is cool. And all that. But
I love her mindset where like I think she said in a podcast or something like that where she's like, I don't mind losing as long as like I'm telling stories and I'm getting reactions out of the fans. Like I love that mindset.
And stuff. Yeah,
you know, like I don't. This would be too big of a praise, but like to me, she's almost like kind of becoming that Dolph Ziggler role where it's like, do you need somebody to get over and and have a good to decent match? And like
I'll say she's more Baron Corbin then. Dolph Ziggler.
No, because I mean,
Because Dolph still, because he's talked about it before, like he still wanted those moments and all that,
yeah.
and
But
he got them. You haven't seen that from Baron Corbin yet, though, and he
That's
never
true,
talks
yeah.
about wanting a championship. He talks
Mhm.
about I went out and made this dude a star, just because of how much the fans hated me and how well we worked in the ring.
I guess I could see where you're coming from then.
Yeah.
Just Baron Corbin hasn't had that opportunity to do it as often, and that's why he gets missed with that comparison.
All right, well, so that's the fantasy person is me, because in the fantasy league, if you pick someone and they get pinned, you lose points.
Mhm.
So I was like, I can't pick them, but in
I
this
don't care.
version or whatever, this is how I book it, and I'm going with damage control. And here's why, Nick. Here's why. Was it
Well, I
not?
just don't exist.
Was it not? Well, I know, because this is why I'm trying to convince Nick a little bit. Was it not on? I think it was SmackDown, like maybe 5 weeks ago. Remember who pinned Bianca?
It was EO.
Io pinned Bianca.
I thought so. Yeah.
I thought that was pretty telling. The fact that it was clean. I mean, I think there was some outside interference, but like, and then when they lost, the one tag team was because of I think it was Last Legend punched Io or whatever. I was like, okay, I knew that was gonna get involved. Some like this, like the matchup stuff, putting them all in there kind of makes sense. But if we go back to the last PLE where I was like, we need to start this dissension of Bianca, Jade, like they could still get their rematch in the next couple of shows or Raws or whatever. But like, I want to see them start going solo and having some solo matches to prove that, okay, I don't need you type of thing, or one-upmanship, and like they could still be friends or whatever. But then like once Rumble hits, oh no, bitch, it's all about me now. Like, I don't want them to suddenly like it rushed and be like, oh, we lost the titles on Raw and now the Rumbles this weekend. Like, I think that would be really poor booking, especially because these guys are both young enough. Like, I think Jade is actually older than we realize, but
Yeah.
I don't think they need to force that stuff. I do agree that we kind of like the women's tag team has been hot potatoes, and a lot of the stuff does feel rushed. Where it's like, get these titles off them, let the actual tag team people kind of do tag team matches and boost this back up, and let Jade and Bianca get back into the stale kind of like solo title match, whatever situations. Like, it's kind of, I feel like it's like a less is more thing, in my opinion. Like, get them away from this to get them over here, and then like everyone kind of raises. So I have them losing. I have Damage Control winning because I think they've looked strong. I guess I'll do the match later, but yeah, I have Damage Control winning.
Start doing the teases too, though. They gotta start doing.
Yeah.
That's why I think this is a
wanna see it.
perfect pay-per-view to do it.
I think it needs to happen here.
There's not gonna be that many eyes from the US, so this could be a good way to get the eyes on these shows, is to have this such a big tease start, because it's the women's tag champion, to start building it up more. Both this feud with Bianca and Jade and the women's title. Good transition pay-per-view to have this occur and actually start trying to build something.
I agree. Completely agree. I think the entertainment aspect of me loves the Chelsea winning and Piper, because I think their money like entertaining. The wrestling,
100%.
The wrestling aspect wants Damage Control, and then like I'm kind of afraid that if what's the other one's name? Last Legend and
Jakar Jackson.
Jakar Jackson. Like, part of me just thinks that like they're just the rotating piece in and out of Unholy Union, and I don't want the same thing to happen to them.
Yeah.
Like almost like a cheap pop, and then it's like, okay, well now you've lost luster. Like, all right, we'll move on. I don't want that to happen.
They're in a testing period right now.
Yeah.
And hopefully by January they're stuck to one brand.
I hope so. I hope so.
And I kind of wish Noam Dar was with them right now too.
Maybe eventually.
Yeah, so do I. That would be a good way to get Noam Dar and Ora Mensa to the main roster with them.
Yeah.
It is interesting that we all have different picks on this. I like it.
Oh yes.
All right, let's move on to the next one.
It's one of two that we can have different picks for. So.
All right, Randy Orton, Kevin Owens.
I'll go first.
Okay.
It's Saudi Arabia. They steadily want Randy to win. And I think this is the one match where you can't have him, like you can't go against the crowd
Mhm.
and all that, just because of the background history with what Saudi Arabia wants and all that, and how they force some initiatives onto these shows.
I completely agree.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
I was booking it in my head, and I was like, this match is gonna be very like telling of the position for Kevin Owens on the card. But then I was like, but it's an international show. They're gonna mark
Yeah.
out for Orton Hardcore. He's gonna win. But I think this
Oh,
is one
but
of those.
KO's definitely gonna is definitely beating down Orton afterwards.
That's what I was gonna say. I feel like this is one of
100%.
those like you won the match, but I'm gonna like I won the war
Yeah,
type of thing where
yeah,
chair
yeah,
shot, chair shot,
exactly.
chair shot. He gets out and like Orton gets helped out. Like I think that's
Yeah,
how
and-
you got to sell this story.
And it could even be where Orton wins by DQ because of like a chair shot,
Mhm.
but it ends with Orton standing tall after randomly hitting an RKO.
Yeah.
So like he gets him set up with a chair on his back, chair on his chest, going up for a frog splash. Orton hits RKO, poses and
cool.
walks out.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'd
I
be
think
down for that kind of finish.
I'm like I think we're all on the same page where it's like Orton. All right, Orton's gonna win, but
Yeah.
hopefully Kevin
Move
Owens
on.
has the spot. So
Yeah, and if they let KO win, hey, great.
I think if
Maybe
it was
we
in
can
the
start
States,
actually appreciating these shows more.
yeah, I think if it was in the States, I would prefer Owens to win because then like Orton's kind of been there, done that. Kevin Owens, I
Anywhere
feel like he's
other
kind of
than
been
Saudi
floundering.
Arabia. That's my thought. Anywhere other than Saudi Arabia, because Kevin Owens did enough on the indie scenes.
I would hope that he would win so he could start kind of that trickle back up the ladder and such
Mhm.
like that, and then maybe we get KO versus Cody 2 at maybe the Rumble or War Games if they're not involved in anything like that. Like
Definitely
I would
the
like
Rumble.
I would like to see that happen eventually, but kind of has to win to get to that spot, I feel like. So that's where I'm kind of torn, but yeah, it's international shows. It's Saudi. Orton's going to win and then KO's going to have the spot. So we'll move on from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Randy Orton's definitely getting it. Also, it would be his first PLE win of the year.
Orton's?
For his first
That's
single
right.
PLE win.
Yeah.
I feel like all
That's
his
crazy, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like all him and KO with the tag teams
He's
always
just been in
lost.
tag
Just bloodline
mainly, yeah.
stuff. Interesting. Good fun fact right there.
If you really want to go there, he technically never lost King of the Ring.
True.
All right, we got the triple threat match for the United States
Probably the
Championship.
hardest one to pick.
You think? Okay.
Yeah, and the only reason why I think that it is just gonna be LA Knight is just because of where they're located.
Yeah,
Saudi
yeah.
Arabia is the only
Yeah.
reason why. Saudi Arabia is the only reason why I think LA Knight's winning, because I can just easily see this match ending with either Andrade or Mello. I don't think Mello's ready to have it yet. I think they're saving his win for a bigger pay-per-view.
Mm.
So I could see him possibly winning it on the very first match for one of the nights of WrestleMania.
Okay.
So
Ooh.
Okay.
I see
gonna
him
add
winning
that.
his first title then. And I
That'd be
really hope they bring back the 6-man ladder match for
Oh, I want that.
with
Yeah.
it was mainly with the IC belt. So even putting that belt on Mello, I
That'd
think
be cool.
that's how he should win his first championship.
I'd
be
be
down
down
with
to see that. Throw in Apollo
So-
Crews, Baron Corbin, maybe somebody else in that match along with LA Knight and Andrade. We're
You
cooking.
definitely got to put Corbin in there because he's worked plenty of ladder matches and all that. I definitely would love to see a couple NXT stars get a shot, get one NXT star in that match as well. That's
Ooh,
close
what if
to
they
a
did like a
call-up.
battle royal
So-
to get in?
I say at least have qualifiers
mean,
with NXT
That'd be
stars.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would, and honestly, have Trick Williams be that one NXT
Ooh.
star because
okay.
they did that rivalry dirty to finish it.
Nick, what do
Bring
you
that
think?
back.
I gotta say the exact same thing as Jason. I got LA Knight because in the US, Carmelo Hayes and Andrade would get bigger pops, and I
Mhm.
think that's what Triple H loves is the pop. I mean, just the way that he's getting so many baby faces over with the crowd. Same with the heels getting the boos and everything. I got LA Knight winning this. just because it's in Saudi Arabia. Everybody knows who LA Knight is, yeah. And like I feel like Carmelo and Andrade would definitely get better pops in the US too.
Yeah, I don't think much of this match in general because I think it was kind of one of those, hey, how do we get LA Knight on the card
Yeah,
in Saudi Arabia?
100%.
Oh, let's have him interfere and cost, Andrade and Melo the game 7 of their matchup feud or whatever. Okay, well then we'll punish him and put him in a match. It was just a cheap way to get him on the card. That's how I feel. So LA Knight's gonna win, and I don't honestly. The problem is with LA Knight is what's next for him. I guess that's really the bigger question than like does he win this or not. Is what is next for LA Knight once he gets past these two guys? Like, is there anybody off the top of your head that you're like, oh, well, he was talking shit to so and so?
There's not many people on the SmackDown.
Like,
Yeah,
it's a problem.
that's my issue is
SmackDown
looking who is on SmackDown that we could
There's Baron
definitely
Corbin,
see.
but he's currently in a tag team with Apollo
Crews.
internally in WWE. There's Giovanni Vinci, but we haven't seen him for like a month and a half, so I don't know.
And he's been
what the hell
jobbing
happened
the
there.
weird thing.
He's been on Speed. I saw he was on Speed not too long ago.
Oh, I haven't watched that.
Like cocaine?
And then Grayson Waller and Austin Theory are about to break up too.
Where have they been?
They should have done that already. In my
Oh,
opinion.
100%. That should have been a SummerSlam match.
I agree. Yeah.
They were
Like, that
teasing
was a
that so
perfect
much. I don't remember the last time I've even seen them. But then again, I also kind of missed some SmackDown. So
They were on
triple
NXT
threat
not too long
match.
ago.
They were in a triple threat match
Oh yeah,
against
for number
Pretty
one.
Deadly and.
oh, they were in the tag
Defense.
qualifiers, right?
Yeah.
But other than that, like we haven't really got the shit talking behind, the back behind the scenes, interviews or anything like that. Like I feel like they've lost a lot of luster into their, theory, who's gonna turn on who, what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm not invested into that at all anymore since they haven't they've teased it so many times, but it's like just do it already.
I really because of the timeline of things right now, I know it's not going to happen. I'm glad, but I hope that it's not Jacob Fatu that Knight gets into a feud with. But because of the War Games coming up, it's going to be more focused on this, so I don't think it's going to be that.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like Fatu's going to win possibly at like the Rumble.
Oh, that'd be sick.
And see, I have a mixed feeling with that.
Now you're making me think.
Because I'd rather see... I honestly just want to see a title change for the pay-per-view right before Mania. You never see it happen.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a perfect one. That United States Championship would be a perfect one to happen at that pay-per-view. And you build a feud, go to Rumble. Everyone's going to think Fatu wins just because of how big this pay-per-view is.
Yeah.
But in reality, no. He loses and all that. And it gets everyone so mad. It leads to him losing his mind, just destroying everything. And he physically demands a rematch and all that, similar to what Bronson Reed was doing at one point.
Mm-hmm.
But because it's Fatu, he can do it way more extreme.
You got me enabled into something. Because, like, if War Games is the next one, aka Survivor Series, like Survivor Series used to be the like Raw vs SmackDown type of thing, champion versus champion. What if kind of a filler thing is just like LA Knight versus Braun Breaker? Like
I'd be fine with that.
Especially like they kind of tease like Braun kind of like going face, and then like now he's kind of like, nope, you're still heel. All right, well, you got the heel Braun, LA Knight. I would love to see that matchup, especially with both of them being championships. Like, I don't know who would win or lose that, but it's not really for a title anyway. So, if anything, that's just a fan win because it gives us an excuse to have these two champions fight each other. And that's what Survivor Series used to be was, champions versus champions. So, I would love to see that as the next thing, and then they can figure it out after that.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool, especially since they need to build up more contenders for the U.S. Championship after this event.
Yeah, that would be a nice filler to then. Yeah, they could give time to build up the next.
What would y'all think if they bring someone up from NXT for a one-shot chance against LA Knight? No, it can't be Oba because Oba would have to win it.
He damn right.
Yeah.
Damn right. Yeah.
He wouldn't lose to LA Knight.
Yeah, no.
That was actually a question I had for you, Nick. And we've talked a lot about NXT, so we might end up skipping the recap later. But the fact that Oba lost again in the rematch, it's like, all right, no more rematches there. Is Oba gonna get called up pretty soon? Hold on.
Hold up.
Over under 2 months.
No.
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 So you're going to over? I'm like, I could see him coming up at the Rumble.
No. Oh, he might make an appearance.
I could see him being in the Rumble in a match. I don't think he gets called
He
up.
won't
He's been
call
doing
it.
amazing, but
He has to hold that
He's-
NXT championship first.
he needs to have the NXT championship. He's got to have a feud with Trick Williams. None of that
Okay.
has. It's been teased before, but that has not happened yet. I'm still going with Oba Femi beating Trick at Stand and Deliver for the NXT championship.
Okay, so
And then being
basically,
called
there's
up maybe that fall,
I actually see Oba winning it at called Iron Survivor. He just demolishes that competition.
NXT
Deadline, yeah. I can just see them waiting that long, which I know it's a while, but still, him just absolutely demolishing the competition, making it no shot anyone else is winning it.
okay.
Mm.
I backtrack.
get that
I
number
can
I
see that
backtrack.
too.
I like what I'm hearing is there's still more story to be told for Oba and
Oh,
especially him versus
100%.
Trick. So okay, because I felt like him losing that way. Well, like basically it was almost like a handicap match. Was like okay, well that's a good way to get him off the title. But like unless he's gonna go after Trick's title, like I'm almost like Oba's kind of been there, done that. Like he's proven everything I need to see. I think he's ready for the main rosters.
And go back to who LA Knight faces. This is a good opportunity to reintroduce Noam Dar back to the scene and all that. It builds that connection with the other Metaphor members.
Yep.
And all that. So you have a backstage segment where Jakara and they just finished like winning a match or something, and camera follows them backstage, and all of a sudden you see Noam Dar there being excited, and he teases how he has some business he would like to try to take care of tonight too. Somehow bring him and LA Knight coming together, and he's definitely someone who can lose that match
For sure.
and all that. Because he's already been established in WWE for who knows how long now.
Like 7 years, 8 years.
Because we seen him hold the cruiserweight title when it was on the main roster.
When it was on 205 Live.
Yeah. And I feel like he was underutilized.
Yeah, he's a good talent.
Now I'm like underutilized talent. I want to see Otis. But maybe against Braun. He'll lose against Braun, but like I'd love to see.
He'll
Otis
lose against Braun, and that
Give
could
him
be a
something.
decent match.
Give him something, and then if we want, we can just completely dismantle that group, and Otis can go to NXT to help fill out that scene for a little bit.
Hank and Tank.
That would actually be kind of. Oh my god!
He would do great against Oba and some of those guys.
Trios with Hank and Tank. I would love that.
All right, let's move on to the next one. So I got the first women. So we got Nia versus Liv. Their titles are not on the line, but the new inaugural Crown Jewel Women's Championship is. Nick, you go first.
This has honestly been the one that I've been. It's been tough to give a result for. I got Nia Jax for this one. I think everything for Liv Morgan is gonna go wrong in this match. I think Tiffany's gonna get involved, help Nia Jax take down Liv. I mean, she doesn't really need the help all that much anyway because she's a beast. I think Nia becomes the first ever champion. She wins. She gets that bragging right over Liv Morgan, but maybe Liv and Raquel attack Nia after the match. Maybe Tiffany Stratton sitting there with the Money in the Bank briefcase has to make a decision. She's gonna go in on Nia, and maybe it happens. Maybe the big moment happens.
Jason, I see your smile.
So here's some crazy booking right here. Liv Morgan wins, but that's because Stratton comes in the ring and hits, because this isn't a no DQ match. So we get a DQ for this inaugural match, which will make people mad. But
oh my god, yeah, it would.
But
restart the match.
Stratton is attacking Liv, looking like she's about to cash in, but this pisses off Nia Jax too much. When Nia
steal my spotlight,
Stratton. Yes. when
Mhm.
Nia attacks Stratton, and so these teases can keep building up more and have more influence for when Stratton does cash in on Jax.
I feel like this is
Oh.
an easy spot to explain our storylines and such like that for Book It. So we got one for Naya, we got one for Liv. I'm going with Liv.
Let's go.
I think Naya, I will give her credit where credit's due. She's improved in the ring. She's been a lot more safe, everything like that. She's done a good job. But Nick, are you telling me she also gets to so she's queen of the ring, she wins the championship, and she wins Crown Jewel championship in the same year? How many more feathers do you need in that cap?
Honestly, think about this. It would just make her an even bigger bitch towards Tiffany Stratton, which would lead towards more teases.
I mean, either
If
way,
that's-
If it doesn't happen,
either
if it
way
doesn't
we're
happen
booking
that way.
this. Either way we're booking this, it's leading to more of Tiffany's gonna cash in on Nia.
Yeah, yeah.
But I
We're
feel like
looking at the overall
that's
picture.
that's pretty much what we're debating. What the result is going to be, whether Tiffany does it or not.
because
How do we
she
get
does
Tiffany
win,
to
and
actually
Tiffany.
tease more?
I'll say if she cashes in, it won't really matter. I mean, like
Mm.
it. So this is how I'm booking it. Okay, Nia has a match. She's dominating Liv. Maybe she sets her up for the Annihilator. Raquel comes out, pulls her out of the ring. Nia starts jawing off to Raquel. Whatever. They eventually, Liv starts, getting the advantage. Raquel cheats, distracts the refs. Maybe we get Oblivion on a chair. Kind of same old stuff we've seen or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, it's basically Liv and Raquel kind of versus Nia. So it's like, even if she loses, it's not really we're heel versus heel.
Dominic might even make an appearance to put the chair in there.
Yeah, like it's not like it's gonna be a dirty finish, regardless.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
100%.
I see Liv winning. She's holding the championship in the ring, whatever. Nia's pissed off, so Nia attacks Liv, starts pounding her. Kind of like we were saying with like the Orton and KO. Like after the match, that's the spot. She's demolishing Liv, whatever. But Raquel's still there, so Raquel gets set off. Maybe, she's distracted somehow. Something happens. I don't know, whatever. But she eventually gets involved. Raquel puts Nia through the table, and then she's like kind of cording off Liv. Liv's like, falling apart, whatever. And then it's Tiffy time. Boom. That's the cash in. That's how it happens. Just like that.
It's Tiffy time.
So that's the way to, Liv
I don't
wins.
I don't think Stratton's cashing in until after Christmas. That's
Hot take.
That's my take, because she has a custom Money in the Bank. And again, because it's Christmas time, they're trying to boost sales on merch.
He's all about the merch.
That actually makes sense.
I'm booking this in all the ways that WWE has been doing.
I mean, you could still sell that though.
It would have to be done in December though.
I think she would have a pretty,
everyone's making those purchases on Black Friday, Cyber Monday.
Or Jason, does she have an epically, customized women's championship belt that sells?
They wouldn't have
Christmas.
it in time. They wouldn't have it in time.
They would if she's got it, after this Crown Jewel.
You're asking.
I mean, they did it with Roman Reigns.
They
had a custom
did
belt for Roman Reigns
right away. Yeah.
I mean, I've already said that I believe that basically from now up until the Rumble is your window of let's see what Tiffany can do as a champion. And even if you think she's doing good, but you need a bigger star or whatever, like we've always done in the past. All right, well, you give her these couple of months, give her a tryout, see what you're doing with her, see if she's ready, or okay, she needs work on the mic, or we don't have good feuds for her, whatever, she can't carry it, let's take it off. But it's a solid trial run up until the Rumble, and then your Rumble into Mania, you can do whatever the hell you want to do. You can take the title off her at the Rumble then. So
correct me if I'm wrong. No women has cashed in at WrestleMania yet.
Nope, not yet.
No.
So
you probably weren't here for this, but we had mentioned this before, where I was like, it's starting to become a theme that like everyone wants to do that, and I don't want to see it again. It's less predictable now.
I only want to see a woman do it right away now, just so we can say, all right, we don't have this whole rush for that now. I was going to just say, and that's a good starting point for any new champion, is right after WrestleMania. because then they all also change up rosters and all that.
Yeah,
So
that's
True.
that is a perfect time. And I see Stratton. While I personally don't like her gimmick and all that, just because I'm tired of all the Barbie-esque stuff that WWE has done for many years, always having at least one wrestler like
True.
that. She has proven that she makes it work and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And I see her holding the title for a long period of time and having her face these big stars to help carry the feuds and the belt.
I think I see that for her eventually. And like I said, this is a trial run. So if we think she's doing great, I have no problem with her holding the title into WrestleMania. But that's me. All right, let's move on to the next one. I have the Bloodline. So, Nick, it's a 3v3?
Yes.
Okay, so, and it was...
3v3.
Did they say which part of, like, Team Solo was in it? I know, I'm assuming Solo, Jacob.
I think Tonga Loa is the one that's on the outside looking in.
Okay, so this has been booked, but we, obviously this is Wednesday for those out there watching the recording, so we don't know what happens on SmackDown yet. I'm such a, I like the little nuggets and stuff like that, but Nick, I'm going to have you go first. I'm still kind of chewing on how I want to book this.
Yeah, I'm still a little bit questionable with this, because Solo's Bloodline has been losing a lot lately, and it kind of, loses the heat that they used to have before they started to lose a shit ton. Booker in me wants to see Solo's Bloodline get the win, and then leading into War Games, the OG Bloodline would get the win at War Games. But also at the same time, it's Saudi Arabia, it's Roman Reigns, he's the big baby face. Jey Uso's the big baby face. Jimmy Uso's probably going to be a big baby face now too. So they'll probably cater to the fans that way for the OG Bloodline, and then that would obviously build to a War Games match as well involving Tonga Loa and possibly Sami Zayn on the OG Bloodline side, where it would be Solo's Bloodline getting the win. So it's very flip floppy for me, because if Solo's Bloodline wins this match on Saturday, OG Bloodline got to win at Survivor Series and vice versa. So I don't know. I'm gonna go with my gut. I'm gonna go with Roman and the Usos, just because, like I said, it's Saudi Arabia. The big baby faces, they're gonna get their win.
Okay, Jason.
Yeah, same logic that's being used. I have to say the OG just because it's Saudi Arabia. I do want to see the new Bloodline win at War Games, and it just sends Roman down this weird spiral of not knowing what to do.
That's what I'm thinking too.
That'd be fun.
And which
be different.
The only issue with it will be, and it also helps prolong Cody versus Roman 3. And this could also lead into Rock versus Roman if Rock's available. Heard he's not going to be. But that could also just be something to make us steer away from that idea.
Team OG.
Yes.
Yep.
OG, a fourth member is going to be revealed somehow.
So when I wrote down my notes of what I thought was going to happen, this was before Raw, and this was before all the Sammy stuff, because I was like, you know what I want to see? I also was assuming that this was going to be one of those 4-on-3s, and then them, whatever GM was like, get a fourth, and then them being like, who's going to team up with us? And then I don't have a cool microphone to use, but then I was expecting suddenly right before the match starts, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, and then he comes out and
it's not gonna be Brock.
No, not Brock. He comes out. He introduces Sammy, the honorary Sammy. But then, that would be amazing, right? And the crowd would pop. But then on Raw, we saw Sammy with not feeling Jay going back to the Bloodline and talking to Solo, not feeling Uzi. And him talking to Solo in the parking lot. So now, and this is not a 4 versus 3 or a 4 versus 4. It's a 3v3. The new Bloodline's got the advantage on the outside. I think somehow it gets neutralized just because, basically we have already 2 main eventers in Roman and Jay. They can neutralize an extra dude. No biggie. But what I see is another black hoodie, whatever, comes out, refs down and out. Who's in the ring? Solo, Roman, Couple of chair shots to the back. Put on the mask. It's Sami Zayn. He's gone dark. He's going after Roman.
I would love to see a heel Sami Zayn again.
I think that's what happens.
That would be
So-
really cool.
Because
him just saying he's not picking a side would be cool. I can also see where they do the little mind game that he did with Roman and all in the OG, but very quick. It's like, oh yeah, no, that was all pretend what happened on Raw. And all
I don't know if I would want like this like storyline's been so well thought out and well planned. I don't want any of the I did this to do that. I want this to be no, remember what you did to me? Remember what you put me through? Like, Jay, you're my boy. Jimmy, I don't trust you. Why would I want to tag with you? Roman, you're scum. I hate your guts. And like the best thing about all this like booking and stuff like that is like even the like worst heels or whatever, they always have little nuggets of truths that are real and like you can empathize with. And like we might boo Sammy for doing that because, you know, Roman's a face and he's over or whatever. But like if you were to justify it, none of us would be like, oh, like Roman didn't have that coming. You know, like the ghost of your past are reemerging to come back and bite you. And what should happen?
I mean, I'm not saying leads to what I was saying with Roman going down a spiral.
And like, I don't know if this is where I'd want to go with this. This is just kind of like spitballing right now. Is like, this is where I would want to see Roman kind of going down that path of kind of what Jay had to do when he first went to Raw, where he was kind of like, you know what? I'm trying to be the bigger man. I apologize. I shouldn't have been that. I don't want to be that guy anymore. I'm trying to do better. Like, I need that. I don't know if Roman's willing to do that or if that's even something we want to see. But, like, I could see him doing something like that and then eventually, like, WrestleMania or Rumble or whatever happens where, like, the Bloodline feud kind of comes to an end where Sammy flips. That's so far in the future. I don't know about that. But for Crown Jewel, Sammy's getting involved. He's going to help Team Solo. And if it's not Sammy, it's going to be another new member that emerges. And somehow the new Bloodline gets the advantage on the old Bloodline. And you have to remember, too, that, like, while the Usos are a great tag team and can always, you know, turn it on and mesh well together, who's to say that Jay and Roman aren't going to have a little, like, tisk in the ring and kind of like miscue here or there and like why'd you do that and like lose their shit. Like they still got to get that chemistry back. So you kind of also have that excuse.
For a while.
Yeah, so like it's a built-in excuse. And like I know we said Saudis fans, whatever. The Bloodline's always been the exception because they're just kind of their own thing. Like the crowd will just be like oohs and ahs and they'll be into it anyway.
Yeah, they've actually been booking it like WWE should be booking things,
So I'm going with, you know, Team Solo and some shenanigans happens and it should be fun. Also, in terms of booking, I don't have them going on last for once, you know, for a Bloodline thing. I don't have them going on last, so
they should be the main event.
You don't end the show with like, I guess, you know, sadness or betrayal or whatever, but like that's how I booked it. We'll get to that shortly. But all right, let's move on to our last match. It is Cody versus Gunther for the other Crown Jewel Championship. Jason, who you got?
I honestly feel like Gunther has to win this one.
Yeah, I'm
in all honesty.
Why is that?
Because he's the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time, self-proclaimed, and so
Nick proclaimed.
Like it, and so just adding on to how great of a wrestler he is. This would help it out more. Cody doesn't need this win. If you look at it overall scheme of things. Raw's about to go on Netflix. Again, long-term booking thoughts here is like, you need something to help elevate your world champion for a whole different platform, whole different set of viewers. So, how can we do that? Here's a perfect opportunity.
How does Gunther win then? Is it clean? Is there Kaiser? What happens then? How do you elevate him by winning?
I believe it's going to be a clean match. I don't think Kaiser gets involved at all. I personally believe Kaiser won't be in Saudi Arabia and all that. Well, minus being backstage with his girl. So I believe he won't interfere at all. He'll probably do the announcement of Gunther, and that's it.
Yeah, I love that last time. That was cool.
Yeah, that intro.
So,
Yeah.
so he just does the intro for Gunther, and then he goes backstage, eats catering, gets his paycheck for going there, and then he goes have a little bit of tiffy time himself. So
All right, Nick, how are you booking this then? You said Gunther as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Gunther as well. Obviously, I mean, not because I'm biased, but I think Gunther needs it a little bit more than Cody does. I mean, when you compare Roman and Cody, like as WWE champions, obviously it's very hard to do. But Cody's already had a PLE loss as WWE champion this year. Obviously, it wasn't for the belt, but I think he can take the loss here. And just like Jason said, Raw's going to Netflix soon. They need to like have that established world champion. And this is an opportunity for the WWE to show the fans that the World Heavyweight Championship is not the B championship in
Mhm.
WWE. Because I mean, we all know that WWE Championship is the most prestigious prize in WWE right now. But this is a good chance to show that the World Heavyweight Championship means just as much. Also, like Jason said, he's the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time. Um, and he rarely loses, and when he does lose, it definitely means something. But I don't think that it's going to be during this event. I think Gunther does get the clean win, but I also think that KO attacks Cody afterwards because he's going to be so pissed from his loss against Randy Orton, and that's how it's going to close the show.
Wait. So this is the match that does close the show? I thought you said Bloodline was.
No, this match has to close the show. The two world
Okay.
champions, the
Yeah.
first ever Crown Jewel Championship. It makes sense because it's in Saudi Arabia. They wouldn't want this to be the main event, and
Mhm.
it should be the main event. Not even just because they're doing it for the Crown Jewel Championship. That factors into it as well. But even if they didn't do it for that, it's world champion versus world champion. That's got to be your main event, no matter if
Mhm.
Roman Reigns is on the card or not.
Agreed. For me, I think it's interesting that you guys both think Gunther needs this and it's going to be clean. Because to me, I think Cody needs this. And Gunther will be fine regardless. Like, he's been booked very strong, it's very good. I actually have his next kind of feud stuff, in my mind at least, kind of lined up into the Rumble. Where Cody, I feel like, we're getting into Rumble season, which leads into WrestleMania season. Cody needs to start knocking off some like high profile wins against good contenders because I've agreed with Tomlin where I've been like his title reign where like his contenders has been very lackluster. Like there's not a lot of names like off the top of my head. Who's somebody that he's beat that you're like that was a great match? I thought he,
AJ Styles.
Yeah, AJ.
You actually
100%.
thought
The
AJ,
AJ Styles matches.
but like you actually thought AJ Styles had a chance to win?
No, but they were it wasn't like a crazy good story, but they put on good matches.
I don't mean like matches. I mean like they were they elevated him to be like I don't know how to explain it, but like you could put on good matchups, but you don't look back on them. Maybe you guys do, but like the regular Joes aren't gonna look like because I completely forgot about that. I was like, oh, that was this, season or whatever. Like his title match against Kevin Owens, like kind of forgettable. Other than that, like
I think that leads into more though with Kevin Owens. I think
it
it's gonna be the
will.
first actual
it's definitely
compelling
leading to
story
a.
with Cody Rhodes.
It definitely is leading to a Royal Rumble match for sure.
It will, but I mean, like that match almost was like an asterisk because it was like Kevin Owens could pull the trigger. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't a like well fought out battle that I legit thought Cody was gonna lose. Like I don't think he's had any of those. Like this might be one, and I think he needs to win because of that. Like he's actually got somebody that's kind of like can match his whatever skill set, prestige, whatever, however you want to trademark it. But I think he needs to win this, especially if he's eventually going to face Roman or The Rock or whatever. He needs to say, like, in his promo, in February or March that, like, I've already beaten one champion, blah, 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 blah. Like, he needs this stuff now. He needs these stepping stones. I know and he's also the face of the company. He's your John Cena. Like, I don't think, like, it's an insult to lose or for Gunther to lose to Cody. Where I feel like for Cody to lose to Gunther on his first title reign, it's almost like, okay, is Gunther ahead of Cody now? Like on the pecking order? Like Roman's up here.
But that's
Gunther's
what they
like,
need for this transition to Netflix, though.
I don't think so. As popular as wrestling is right now, I think that's a little bit of a reach. I don't think they need any extra there. I think Cody wins, and I think it's clean. And then the end of the match or whatever, if we're kind of storytelling or whatever, I think the thing that might, like, Cody's heading to the ramp or whatever, holding the championship, and we zoom into Gunther or whatever, and he's up there, and like, it might be. I think it could be something as simple as like a roll up. Like, it wouldn't be the biggest thing or whatever, but it's like it's a wrestling thing. Gunther's not completely knocked out or whatever. Like, like how many times has Gunther won on a submission hold? Like, it's a wrestling thing. But so we have Gunther on the ring. He's pissed or whatever. He's reaching for his title, and then he turns around and boom, who's there? Goldberg. Goldberg spears the shit out of him, and like
I hate how this Goldberg thing's catching track.
I fucking hate
really
Goldberg.
do.
I think he's trash. I don't want him back. But the fact that Gunther roasted him and his son, and said, "I got 3 minutes for you," I think that is going to be your Saturday night main event. It's going to be Gunther Goldberg, or maybe not main event, but like it's going to be on that card.
On something like that.
And if it's not, it's going to be one of those other little special event things or whatever. It's going to be Goldberg with Gunther. So he's got his thing. And I mean, hell, it could, if you wanted to make him look even stronger.
I'd rather Goldberg just come out and spear Gunther at the end after he raises the title, walks away, and then KO starts coming out when Goldberg's walking to the back. And so you have that double beatdown.
I just don't know. I don't know if I want.
Doesn't Goldberg and KO have a history too? Didn't they?
Goldberg was actually the one who beat KO for the Universal Championship. Yeah. I will always fucking hate Goldberg.
So they both look at each other, and
I don't want
that animosity, but
oh my god,
no, I don't want that at all, because that would set up another Goldberg match. I want a Goldberg versus Gunther, and that's it. I don't want anything else.
They smile at each other, and KO goes and handles it. Ignore what.
Do you know what? I'd be down for a Goldberg match, but I do not want to see him win the World Championship. I understand.
No, not a title match. Not a title match.
I think it would have to be a title match if he's going against a world champion.
I mean, if that's the case,
the only way he's going to be in the match.
If that's the case, Gunther's going to win, though. Gunther's going to win, for sure.
Gunther would have to win.
If the title's not on the line, Goldberg might actually win. Because that will be the only way he will do it. It's either it's a title match or he's winning.
But either way, like, to me, I also, like, if Kevin Owens is going to attack Orton after that match, I want that to be, like, the night. I don't want him to come out and attack twice. That's two different stories, I don't want it all. If it's going to happen, it's got to happen at the same time. I don't want that to happen. I just want
not to get heated about Goldberg. Oh, I hate what he did to Kevin Owens, man.
I freaking hate Goldberg as well.
Because KO's a heel now, they're just going to look at each other, smile, and that's it.
I would prefer that.
It should have been Jericho to beat Kevin Owens at WrestleMania.
I'll say this.
We're not going to talk about that one.
I'll say this for your idea, Jason. I don't want that to happen at Crown Jewel. I want that to happen on a Raw or something like that. Like, I don't know why Kevin Owens would be there, but like, I'd rather that be a backstage thing on a Raw or SmackDown. I'm not saying I want that match, but I'm saying, why else did Gunther go out there and roast Goldberg if it wasn't going to lead to something? You know what I mean?
If you guys remember, he actually mentioned Goldberg whenever he had that promo against Bret Hart.
Yeah.
The whole Sami Zayn storyline.
And then turned it back.
Yeah.
And then he said, I was just kidding.
Gunther's playing to the people there around. That's what he's always done best with his promos. Mm-hmm. I truly do not believe that it's really going to authenticate anything. I at least hope it doesn't. I just feel like Gunther is doing his job.
Oh yeah, he did
at playing to the crowd where they're at.
He gained a solid 200 points with me.
It's similar to what AJ Francis had said on a podcast, on the Vibe podcast. Like, Gunther does his research into the town of going into and says one small thing that only resonates to that crowd.
Yeah,
that gives him the biggest pop against him. That's Gunther right there. And I really wish AJ Francis had that opportunity to do that when Hit Row was a thing as well.
Yeah, he was a great talker.
Oh yes.
Still is in TNA. So
Oh yeah.
We'll go through. We'll book our card order match. You can tell any.
Alright.
I feel like we've done a lot of our storytelling. So like, but
Oh yeah.
tell your stories or whatever that you want to add. That maybe whatever. Just give me that extra juice. Then we'll make our elimination picks. And then if you have any hot takes at the end, I got one, but I feel like Nick's already taken it from me, so I have a second one lined up as well. Nick, I'm gonna let you go ahead and go first. Go ahead, give me your match card, and go ahead and tell us that story. Book it for me.
all right. To kick off, I actually have Orton and Kevin Owens. I think it'd be a good start. Randy Orton get the crowd going, and I think just having that top babyface moment at the beginning of the show would set the tone for the rest of the card. Then I'd have Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed. I'd have the four-way women's tag team championship match. I'd have LA Knight and Carmelo Hayes versus Andrade, or LA Knight versus Carmelo Hayes and Andrade. Liv Morgan and Nia Jax, and then Roman and the Usos versus Solo and the Bloodline. I know there's lots of people that think that should be the main event match, but unless something crazy happens, I don't think it's going to be. And we got Cody Rhodes and Gunther in the main event.
All right, Jason.
All right. So I think 1 and 2 you could easily flip because of how we talked about the Nia Jackson Liv Morgan match. Either that's gonna be first or second on the card to give enough space for that whole introduction of the belts because they've been making it a huge ordeal for each show. And then Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, because of how we tease like a little more violence and all that with the women's match. I think they're going to try to do that in the beginning. So if it doesn't go well with the crowd, they have enough to fill in there to help make up for it. And then after that, I see the Rollins versus Bronson Reed match occurring. And then I put the women's tag match right after that because I don't feel like that's high enough match to continue dropping onto the card deeper into the card. That's a filler match. I also kind of feel like the Rollins Reed match is more of a filler as well, but it's a good in the middle high impact part. It's the middle of the card main event, and then you have the bottom tier with this opening match on any other show to help kind of get the crowd their time to rejuvenate before the last two main. And then I see Roman and the Usos versus the New Bloodline. And then the United States Championship match. And then that Cody versus Gunther match. There's gonna be a match in between the Bloodline and Cody versus Gunther.
So the
which one?
United States Triple Threat's kind of the filler match between the Bloodline and Cody Gunther.
Yeah. Yeah, it's either that or for some reason, just because of how Reed has looked on television, you switch United States and Rollins Reed.
I'll say this. I'll give you the kudos for like kind of that breather. But I know that's going to be that spot probably where we get they're not called presidents, but like remember that one guy that comes out and says like the attendance and like the local stuff or whatever.
Yeah, like
that's probably when that comes out.
Yeah, like
I forget his name.
Some high important person
Yeah.
wherever they're located.
Yeah, that's so I could see that happening. So it's like a breather, and I mean, like for us, it's like a bathroom break, but you do get that. All right, my heartbeat's coming back down before you get back into the main event. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah, they did that the last couple crown jewels, and I think
we're gonna get it somewhere. All right, well this is how I'm booking mine. I feel like I say this every time about like I want to start the show off hot, but I don't know if I have that match that I'm like in love with for starting off hot. But I'm starting the show off with Rollins versus Reed because I don't think it's going to be much of like a match, like a wrestling match. I think we're just going to get a lot of like big spots and nonsense shenanigans and stuff like that. So like because of that, I think it starts off hot or whatever. Like even if it doesn't in a DQ, we're gonna get a chair shot or a table, or he's gonna give him a curb stomp through the stairs or the steel steps again. Like something like that's gonna happen. Also wouldn't be shocked either if somehow what's his face? the big SOB ends up showing up too and like interferes and inserts himself into this feud. Wouldn't be shocked at that as well. My second match after that then is the women's tag titles. It's kind of filler, but it is the championship. I also don't want to do like the formula I have is all right. We have a singles match, tag match, another singles match, then a triple threat. Like so, I'm trying to like even out the match types. And the championship one or whatever, the women's one, I kind of already explained most of it. I still got Damage Control winning. I think they're more than likely gonna pin Piper or Green, even though like I said, I think they'd be super entertaining, but they're also just the easiest, and nothing's really gonna change if they eat the pin. So Damage Control wins there. I don't care if it's Sly or if it's like, I feel like you have to, if you're gonna get the titles off of Jade and Bianca, it's never gonna happen in a straight up tag match. So like this is the worst possible odds for them, because they don't even have to be pinned to lose. So like there's no shame in them losing here, especially if they don't get pinned. And like we can still get the, rematch, whatever is on Raw, or even if we want to move it to War Games or whatever, we can still get that and get your one more. But like you guys, Jason has said, like we need to start seeing we're not on the same page, blah blah blah, and then like start getting some of that stuff on SmackDown. I need to see that, so I think it starts here. Then I move into the Orton versus Owens match. I think this is actually going to be like probably the sleeper match of the night in terms of like technical wrestling and stuff like that, and like emotional investments and stuff like that, which again is why it fits well here, because after this I have the LA Andrade Carmelo triple threat, because to me, like, I don't have really any investment here. I think this was just a throw in to get them on the card and get a LA Knight pop, and then kind of good for Andrade and Melo to get more experience on like PLEs internationally and stuff like that. So like you get the highs of the Kevin Owens and the Orton, especially because I expect Kevin Owens to do something after the match, and then you get the downtime of the LA Knight US titles. So that's the fourth match, is the US triple threat. That then moves us into the fifth match, which is Liv versus Nia for the Crown Jewel title. I've kind of explained that mostly. I think the way to save the Crown Jewel for me personally is like this is where you're going to have Tiffany cash in at the end on Nia. I also think that how we're kind of talking about the titles and like holding them or whatever. I think you have to hold the Crown Jewel title at least into probably Survivor Series, like showing it off or whatever. And I think it'd be very easy and a very easy or very good look if like Liv's holding one title, Raquel's holding another, or even like Dom's wearing one. Like I think that would be
my God.
If Dom's wearing one, that would be such a cool like foreshadow in the future that would piss off so many people, and I would absolutely love it. But I think more or not, like Raquel's gonna hold one, Liv's gonna hold one. Maybe we start to see a little bit of jealousy of Raquel if they continue to hold this championship. I think they don't hold on to it for that long. That's why, again, I think another reason number 24 or whatever why I think Liv's gonna win. The fact that she cashes in or whatever, that kind of also eats up some time of them talking about cash-ins, blah 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 blah. Gives us a little bit of a breather. That sets up, now we have the Bloodline tag match. Again, kind of said the team solo is going to have the numbers advantage. Maybe not the best chemistry or cohesion of Jay and Roman. Whether Sammy does show up or not, I think regardless we get some type of either distraction or interference from the outside. But I don't think it's just people we're already aware of. I think it's somebody else that we're not expecting or haven't seen yet. Then we get the Saudi president, whatever, leader guy, does the attendance. I hope we don't get a concert performance or anything like that. I think it doesn't really fit here, especially if it's like a U.S. recording artist. But
yeah,
whatever.
I don't think we'll get that.
Yeah, I don't think we'll get that. So I think this is where he comes out and acknowledges the crowd and does the attendance. If Triple H comes out, I wouldn't be surprised if he announces, the next venue of the year somewhere down the road of like, such and such is now going to be in California. We'll get some type of announcement. So then you get that.
I don't think he does that in Saudi Arabia.
I don't think he needs to, but I just feel like there's some type of announcement thing that like eats up time before we had that down break between.
They'll even do that stuff on the press conference.
Actually, first person going in the Hall of Fame for WrestleMania.
Yeah, like it's something like that, whether it's a Saudi thing or if it's Triple H thing, but it's gonna happen right here. So that's basically what I'm saying. All right, so then that obviously that leads us into our main event, the seventh match of the night. So that's Cody versus Gunther. Kind of already said the end of it, where I think Goldberg does show up when Gunther's alone in the ring, sets that up for the main event or whatever special thing down the road. So that's how I'm booking it. That'll move us into the elimination pick. So, Jason, you have free reign. You can pick anybody you want to. Me and Nick have made some picks in the past, so there's certain people that we cannot select. I can't pick Bronze on this card. So I don't have to worry about that. Neither is Priest, but I cannot pick Gunther. Nick cannot pick Liv, Cody, or Nia. So that's tough. That's really tough, especially when there's not. I mean, this one at least there's 7 matches, but like when there's 5 matches and you use them, it gets tough.
Yeah, and especially because of this show, you're like, because you expect it, but this could be the year we finally see a change. Jason, that's kind of how we've been picking it.
Since you can pick anybody you want, I'm gonna make you go first.
Oh, great!
And we can have the same ones. It doesn't matter. So go ahead.
Yeah, who do I think's actually gonna win their match?
Who's the one you're most sold on?
I'm gonna have to just take the cop out and pick Randy Orton.
Okay.
So here.
He's going.
I mean, I'd rather be safe with this pay-per-view and all that, because it is way too easy to just go with the predictable just based off the track record of this show.
Yeah, I like that pick. All right, Nick, have you figured out yours?
My pick is gonna be L.A. Knight. Yeah.
Yeah.
L.A. Knight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where everybody's spared.
That's actually who I picked as well. Like I kind of already said it too, where I was just like, I feel like this is just thrown together. If they take the title off him, I will be like, what? Did he fail a drug test?
I'd be super surprised.
I was between Orton and L.A. Knight. I figured both of y'all would go L.A. Knight, so I didn't want us all to have the same.
Could you imagine if we all picked the same person? It would have been funny.
I always try to go with like
it's Halloween. It's the costume of the year.
There's certain dudes that I'm like waiting till later when I'm running low on selections. So like,
that's why. And like a lot of these names, it's around Mania time where you want to have them as a dark horse.